Probably the greatest thing that I've seen so far in 2024, best thing, probably best thing that I've seen so far in 2024, was the debate between Trump and Biden. And the reason I say that isn't because of the brilliantly, intellectually stimulating, thought-provoking conversation between these two towering geniuses. It's because I think that what this did is it showed everybody pretty much out there just how bad this really has gotten. Like, this is full-blown late-stage empire collapse type shit. You might as well put my cat in charge of shit at this point. Schrodinger does a really good job. He can't fuck anything up. All he does is lay in a sunbeam all goddamn day. So, yeah, so anyway, I watched this. Along with everybody else, jaw on the floor going, oh my God, I would love to have heard some, conversation about some real issues. Americans that are having a hard time paying for fucking groceries. You've got a real estate problem because we've got a bunch of so-called investment in real estate that has bloated the price so far beyond its utility that now you've got like half the country effectively locked out of actually owning part of the country, even 1 square foot of the country that they've been told is theirs. And of course, we talked about this a few days ago. When you lose concept of ownership, you lose responsibility, and people stop taking responsibility for anything, and you get this shit. You get a complete fucking total disaster. The Soviets went through the same thing, by the way. So don't think that this is like leftist talking points, because I'm openly criticizing the Soviet empire for the same reasons I'm criticizing this empire, okay? And we're pretty much nearing the end of this, and I think that most everybody just saw that. And out of the three, for example, the three candidates, the two goofballs, the other day, and RFK, not one of them, has actually said anything about like, yeah, hey, what needs to happen? We really need to cut like 90% of the government categorically, and send all those people home. Here's a list of agencies. We're just going to shut all these agencies down, and that's the end of it. There's just no money to pay for any of this shit anymore. Oh, and by the way, we're also going to end all foreign aid. All foreign aid to everyone. And that includes removing ourselves, removing us, the American taxpayer, from NATO and from, the UN. Now, not one of them had the balls to say that shit because they're all owned and fucking controlled, and we all know. Come on, we all know. The whole it's not a secret anymore. Okay, there's no secret who clearly owns these fucking guys. Okay, so like they're never going to shut that shit off. They're going to keep doing that, and they're going to keep impoverishing the American people to do all this kind of stuff. And before you conservatives chime in with but it was all leftist talking points, blah, blah, blah. No, you know what? I don't consider a legitimate question that they asked, which I thought was a good question, actually, about how, President Trump, how do you intend to deal with the 40 to 60 million fucking illegals in this country? What's your logistics? What's your idea behind that? And instead he talked about some disgraced fucking 4-star general over God knows what 5 fucking years ago. Are you serious? Because I would really have liked to have heard that. And I think a lot of the young people in this country would love to have heard that. They'd love to have heard, how do you intend on addressing this? Because, we'd like to see wages come up. And you're not going to have wages coming up if you're flooding the country with illegals. That's just not going to happen because it's slave labor, and they're able to get continued amounts of slave labor. I noticed the question, of course, will never be brought up about, China owning land in the U.S., particularly farmland in the U.S. I noticed that a bunch of that shit will never get brought up. And that's just me. I mean, if I were asking the questions, I'd ask some real serious fucking questions and watch them all fucking melt. But yeah, I think that what happened was we did get a chance to see that. We got a chance. I think it is one of these things that the memes are great. It's hilarious. The comedy's awesome. That's fucking great. It would be funnier if it wasn't so fucking tragic. It would be funnier if it wasn't like, we're kind of along for the ride and there's not a whole lot we can do about it, and it's just going to make shit much worse. Yeah, because we have young people now that are not even having kids anymore. They've decided that fuck it, there's just no way to do anything with this. That's pretty goddamn bad. And boomers, you guys are screwed. You realize that there's no one's going to take care of you on this because we're all broke. You've broken it. Yeah, you've got a handful of people out there that are doing really well, but again, it's a handful of people by comparison. to when you start talking about the hundreds of millions of people who aren't even being able to cover their bills, and they're working full time. These are not people that are not working. These are people that are actually working full time plus, sometimes have 2 or 3 or 4 jobs and a side gig and everything else, and they're still not able to make all their bills. And especially when you see these videos of young people saying, yeah, I've cut everything out of my budget. I've cut everything out. I've gotten rid of this. I've gotten rid of that. I don't do anything anymore. Like, well, yeah, that's not good either. That's not good. That's I mean, it'd mess with you. It'd mess with your head after a while. So I hope that everybody is slowly, I know that you guys are slowly waking up, but hopefully that actually jarred a bunch of people into reality and going, yeah, this is just how fucking bad it is. This is like late stage Roman Empire type fucking collapse. And where we've got 2 mumbling fools that can't answer any questions, won't talk about any real issues, won't address any of the gigantic debt that we're dealing with, that there is no way to pay. There's no mathematical way to pay any of that back, and it should be immediately abolished just by telling the bankers to go fuck themselves. And that's what should happen. This isn't difficult. It isn't difficult to actually answer these questions, by the way. It isn't difficult to say, well, yeah, what we're going to do about the debt is, well, we're going to tell all the bankers to get fucked and get out of the country. Fuck you. We're not paying you. Go piss up a rope. We'll create our own currency. We don't need to have dollar brand dollar bills. We can do other hard currency and let people succeed. Let people succeed or fail based on their own talents and abilities, and and just, in other words, have a real fucking country and a real economy. We're going to do something like that. That's not hard to answer something like that. I just did it, and it took me 18 seconds. So, or how about, setting a quota for Border Patrol of like, hey, look, you're either all going to be fired or you're going to deport. You're going to do 30 to 50,000 unique deportations per day. That's how we're going to handle that shit. And all those people from all those other agencies that we just shut down, they can either go home or they can go into Border Patrol and start rounding up illegals and kicking them out of the fucking country. And by the way, for you bleeding heart dickheads out there that are like, well, but it's not the illegals' fault and everything. Hold on, just a second here. Why, if these people are so great for economies, why are their countries not wanting to keep them? That's a legitimate question. Like, why aren't their countries saying, no, we want to keep these people? No, it's because they don't want them. That is not our problem. That is not our problem. We have to deal with our problems here first. You help out of abundance. You don't help when you're fucking drowning. You don't try and save other drowning people. Okay, you put your own mask on first. Fuck, man. That's common fucking sense. You have to deal with your problems first, then you can assist, because then you can assist from a position of strength. And you can't do it this way. There you go.